Tim Pancakes!
Hello everybody, Tim Pancakes here, and in this continuation of my celebration of Pride Month, I am doing another solid color build challenge. The home that I'm building is actually Aveline's Shell challenge, so it's another shell from a popular YouTuber that I'm using in conjunction with the solid color challenge that I'm doing for the month of June for gay and LGBTQ plus Pride Month. So anyway, that's what we're doing today, and this is a really fun build I just love. As I've mentioned in pretty much every video, I'm not much of a builder. I don't feel very comfortable with my building, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this channel is to improve that. And so I'm really doing a heavy focus on build videos right now, and I've already posted a solid blue build on my channel, so this will be the green addition to that series. For the build, the only real rules I'm imposing on myself are that I'm primarily using a solid color, so in this case it's green. I'm allowing neutrals, so browns, whites, blacks, beiges, that sort of thing. It's fine, and is in some instances, as long as an item had green in it, I called it good. So there are certainly stricter solid color builds, but while I'm learning to build, I still really want to try to make it look as good as I can. That's part of the challenge for me. So I don't just have green carpet everywhere and you know, using solid green swatches of things or anything like that. I really tried to make it look like a livable home that you can just download into your game and start playing right away. So that was kind of my objective with the build. I think my favorite part, now that I've done a couple of these, is figuring out the floor plan. I think when left to my own devices, having to do my own build, I would be pretty boring with my floor plan or end up redoing a floor plan that I've either seen in TV or that I've lived in. And so to have these shell challenges, it's really neat because I can be kind of creative and try to push the boundaries of what I would normally do, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I think my favorite part of doing these shell challenges is coming up with a floor plan that works, which has a nice flow, that makes sense, and that's been a blast for me. Right here, I'm just kind of picking the cabinets for the kitchen. I really like this kitchen too. I think that it took me a little bit of trial and error to end up with everything that I have, but I like the cabinets I picked. I like the wall that I picked. A lot of these things are items that I haven't really used much. Of course, these cabinets are not the that's not the case of these cabinets, but a lot of other items that make their way into the home in various rooms are things that I've never used before, or swatches that I've never used before. And that's another part of the fun of the solid color challenge, is I'm having to really look deep and explore different swatch colors. So here I do end up with these two-tone cabinets, and I've done that in almost every build at this point, I think. And that's part of the fun too for me, is I don't just want all cabinets to match. I really like trying to find different ones that either coordinate or are different colors that coordinate. And so here I ended up with the brown uppers and the green lowers. And I think that considering that I have the solid color challenge, it works. If I was just doing this build because and not having that requirement, I don't know what kind of kitchen this would have ended up being, but in the blue build, it was the master bedroom that really surprised me. And in this build, I think it's probably this kitchen. I just really like how it came together. I don't know. I can see a family in the kitchen preparing a meal together or sitting at the countertops there. I don't know. I really like how it came together. I just finished having some dinner. It is Saturday night that I'm recording this voiceover, and the time that it took me to do this build, I would say it probably took me, I did it over the course of 2 or 3 days, and I worked, I think the final footage was like 3.5 hours. So 3.5 hours spread out over a couple of days. And I will also say that I started this, and I spent about an hour trying to figure out the roof because it was a nightmare. I really miss the auto roofs from The Sims 2, but it took me an hour to do this, and at the time I was actually doing a solid yellow build. So I got the roof, the outside, and then I kind of figured out the floor plan, and I think I started looking at items, but then I was tired because at that point it had been probably an hour and a half or so. And when I exited the game, I don't think I saved because when I came back in, the house was not here anymore. So I was a little bummed, but I didn't make it that far. Like a lot of the time I spent, again, was trying to figure out the roof. So I basically really quickly redid the floor plan. I figured, since I already knew what I wanted for the roof, I was able to recreate that. And then I decided to do green instead of yellow just because I kind of felt like green worked better with this shell, I guess, if that makes any sense. But anyway, that's kind of how this started. It took me this is my second try, and it took me a couple of days to do it, but I really do love the outcome. I hope that you do too. Again, I'm still learning, so there are definitely better builders out there, and I'm really looking forward to looking at the other submissions for Aveline's challenge, because this is a shell that Aveline on YouTube issued, and the due date is actually this weekend, so I'm a little bit ahead of myself, which I'm really glad about, because when I did Ms. Griffey's shell in the No Neutrals build a few videos ago, that was in April, and I just did it a bit late. So this is the first one I'm actually doing on time and to be an actual contender or whatnot, and it's a lot of fun. I am excited to see what everyone else comes up with, and if you don't watch Aveline, you should definitely go check her out. I will link her down below, but she's a builder, and her voice is her voice is so soothing, and I love her builds, and I haven't really watched speed builds, I would say, in the last 2 or 3 months from any of the content creators that I really love watching. I might have, that's not entirely true. I've picked up a few videos here or there from each of them, but for the most part, I really just kind of wanted to not be, knowing that I wanted to take my channel in a more building direction while I learned to build, I didn't want to be influenced by their styles, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I love Aveline's builds, and a lot of the homes that my offline gameplay sims live in are from her. The same goes for Ms. Griffey and Sim Lissy, and Lil Simsy. Those are like the 4 builders that I am a diehard fan of, and most of the homes in my save are from the 4 of them, and so I would recommend checking out Aveline if you haven't already. She's just a delight. And she'll be doing a video, I imagine, at the end of June where she highlights some of the other participants that did this challenge. So anyway, like I said, I just had dinner. I ended up getting some tacos. I didn't really know what I wanted. I was kind of hemming and hawing, and I was debating between doing Italian. Maybe spaghetti sounded good, or driving through. I didn't really want to drive through anywhere just because I have been doing that a lot and not feeling too great, so I just kind of figured having that fast food wouldn't really be the best option, and I wasn't really going to be cooking. I'm living in the house that I'm selling right now, and most of the things have been moved to the apartment, but I'm not living there, so there's not really anything here to cook with. I don't even have like any dishes or anything, so if I'm not eating at the apartment with my family, then I'm usually getting to-go food or driving through or doing delivery or something. Anyway, I ended up with tacos. I got some delicious chicken street tacos from a delightful taqueria that's only a few minutes from the house, and I love me some Pepsi, and they had glass Pepsi bottles, which I am a sucker for as well. So it was just a nice, light, but really scrumptious dinner. So I came home, put on some Hulu, had that, and then decided I wanted to sit down and hammer out this voiceover. So I'm kind of picking through, and my design style was really to kind of focus on one room at a time, and when I would find an item that had a green swatch that didn't necessarily work in that room, but I wanted to maybe save or put in another one, I would just zip over and dump it real quick and then go back to the room I was working on. So I apologize that a lot of my videos do have this back and forth, kind of all over the place vibe to them, but I'm just kind of going through and seeing all these miscellaneous items that I'm like, oh, I'll put this in the bathroom, and this can go downstairs in the den, and this can go in the kids' room, and this can go outside. So there's a lot of back and forth, but for the most part, I tried to focus on one room at a time. This house is it's technically a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. However, it's only furnished for 2 bedrooms. There's the upstairs master and the kids' room, and then there's a bathroom for them to share. And then downstairs is a bathroom, which is just my personal preference. I do not like it when a build doesn't have a bathroom or a powder room or anything on the first floor, because it's just a pain for my Sims to have to go upstairs. And just in terms of real life, too, I would rather have a bathroom on the main level for guests to use. So I definitely always try to find a space for a bathroom on the first floor. Also on the first floor in this build, it is a den. So I'm using one of the tiny living fold-out sofas. But I have it set up as kind of an office as well, because I didn't really have a space for an office, and I didn't want to just put a desk with computers in the rooms. So I put it on the first floor, and it was fun. It was nice to actually use one of the sofa beds as well. I also really tried with the window dressings. That's probably one of the things I want to focus on next as a builder, because I have my go-tos that I use, and a lot of my favorite ones are neutrals, and so doing this green challenge, if I couldn't find a green one, I tried not to use them just because I didn't want to be too heavy with them. And plus, I think that we could definitely use some more swatches and some more designs. Like, I just want some normal blinds that aren't so bulky. Sometimes in the past I've sized down some of the bigger bulky blinds to work. I just didn't end up doing it in this build for whatever reason. But that could easily be done if you wanted to add additional window treatments in some of the spaces that I didn't include them in. In some of my previous builds, like the blue build and the no neutrals build, there were definitely some opportunities. Specifically in the blue build, the kids' room, I'm kicking myself for not putting any window treatments in the kids' room, because what a great opportunity to use some of these fun ones. So in this build, I definitely used those ones that have like I think it's a flying saucer on them, or it's a green eye or something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but they were kind of fun, and I ended up going back and forth with how to arrange them too. I ended up pushing them a little bit closer together, just because I felt like that was too busy in the center, so I do end up shifting those later. I don't know if it's in the footage or not. And then another thing I'm trying to work on as a builder is the landscaping in the yard, because my routine is kind of to get the outside built, to pick a wall color, do the roof, and then maybe throw out some trees or something like that, or a sidewalk, but then I don't have the energy to do the rest of the outside. I just want to get inside and do a floor plan and start doing the rooms. So I do that, and then by the time I'm done with the build, I do not feel like going back outside and fixing it. So that's why, again, a lot of my other builds that have been posted up until this point are very minimal backyards or front yards, with nil landscaping, and I see what other creators do, and it just boggles my mind. I'm so amazed at what they can come up with. And so what I ended up doing in this build is I did all of the interior, and then I put it away for the day, and then the next day came back and focused solely on the outside. So that helped, at least, so that I would have the energy to actually put effort into it. But I still want to get better at it. I think that I have a lot of items that are my go-to items. The handlebar jungle bar set that is in this build, a hot tub, a grill. Those are kind of the 3 things I put in every yard. And so here I really wanted to add some additional things. So I got the fire pit, and I'm playing around with these flowers and the landscaping, and then I threw out the I think it's backyard stuff, slip and slide that we have here, because it happened to fit in the yard. So I haven't play tested it, but I think it works just fine. But yeah, so I don't know, I don't love this yard, but it's better than what I've done in the past, and I do want to keep getting better at the landscaping and the outside, the exteriors of my homes that I'm building. So this was definitely one that I kind of tried to experiment and get a little outside the box with. And as I'm wrapping up outside, I think I probably do a few other finishing touches on the inside and move into the screenshots. So I will just say thank you so much for watching. Happy Pride Month. Definitely check out Aveline's YouTube channel. I will link her below. And that's a stack.